Temtem is finally out, which means a whole new group of players will be exploring this exciting game for the first time, trying to become tamers of their own. While the game should feel familiar to Pokemon fans, Temtem has its own unique system that makes it unlike anything else. My name is Codiak and welcome back to our Temtem Survival Guide. Today's topic is all about the battle. Right off the bat, the main change from Pokemon is that every battle in Temtem is a 2v2, minus some instances of Wild Temtem being a 2v1. Because of the emphasis on this format, various elements of the game have been tuned to accommodate for the change. All Temtem learn new techniques, abilities used in battle as they level up. What techniques you teach your Temtem have even more impact than in other monster collector games. This is because of how these techniques are broken down in the game. Each technique has a type, just like the Temtem themselves. Knowing which type interacts with another can result in either an increase or decrease in the effectiveness and power of that technique. For example, a crystal-based technique attacking an electric-type Temtem will result in 2 times the damage. However, a wind technique used against something like another wind Temtem will result in only half the usual damage, so understanding these aspects are key. In our first Temtem Survival Guide, we tackled the topics of types, so if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you go check it out. Similarly, we created a handy type chart that you can download and use during your adventures. That link is in the description below. Each technique belongs to one of 3 categories or classes that determine which of your Temtem stats applies to boosting its effectiveness. Physical damaging techniques are powered by the user's attack stat and reduced by the receiving enemy's defense stat. Special damaging techniques are powered by the user's special attack stat and reduced by the receiving enemy's special defense stat. And status, which are non-damaging techniques that modify battle conditions, like lowering stats or inflicting conditions such as sleep. We have a comprehensive chart on that as well, and you can find it in the description below. Each technique also belongs to one of 5 targeting categories, simply put, where the technique is directed. Self-targeting techniques that can only be used on the user, single target techniques that can be used on any selected Temtem in the field, including the user, single other target techniques that can be used on any selected Temtem in the field, excluding the user, single team techniques that can be used on any selected team in the field, including the players, and all techniques which hit all Temtem in the field regardless of side. Understanding the types and targeting of your techniques is only the first step. There are a few more things you need to understand before you're ready for battle. For instance, the damage stat, which essentially shows you the overall power of a technique. To figure out the damage that a special or physical technique does, players will have to use a special formula, but most likely won't be doing that on the fly. Additionally, damage is increased when a technique's type matches that of the user's type, so a Crystal Temtem using a Crystal technique will be boosted. The power of the technique is increased by 50% thanks to a mechanic called Stab, or Same Type Attack Bonus. Now here is where combat really starts to stray from the typical formulas in the genre. Every technique in the game has a stamina cost, and managing this resource can mean the difference between you winning and losing a battle. This bar below your Temtem shows just how much stamina your Temtem has to work with during that turn. Using a technique will expend some of that stamina, but a portion of that stamina pool will be replenished at the start of your next turn. While battling, each technique has a number that indicates how much stamina the ability will cost to use. The stronger the attack, the more stamina the technique often costs. This helps avoid the spamming of a single powerful attack throughout longer battles, and means managing the use of those powerful attacks versus weaker ones is key to success. If stamina is left over at the end of a turn, a portion will regenerate and you'll be free to use another move the following turn. However, if you exhaust your entire stamina bar, your Temtem will receive damage at the end of the turn, overexerting itself and forcing you to rest that Temtem, rendering it useless during the following turn. Picking a good spread of high, medium, and low stamina techniques will be key to your success in Temtem battles. But we're not done yet. There is still more to learn. Another mechanic exists within the game called holds, and while it is a bit hidden, its presence in the UI shouldn't be ignored. Holds restrict the use of some techniques in the game until after a specified amount of turns have passed. If you take a look at this technique's UI panel, you'll notice it has darkened colored diagonal slashes. The number of slashes indicate how many turns will need to pass before your Temtem can use that particular technique. Once those slashes are all lit up, the technique can be used. Timing, however, is crucial. Once you use a hold move that is ready, the hold meter resets and you must wait to use that move again. Understanding the importance of holds is critical. Players that don't manage this mechanic effectively run the risk of running out of techniques to use, thus possibly wasting a turn. Priority also plays a big part in turn-based battles. All techniques are accompanied by a series of right-facing chevron shapes that indicate the priority level of a technique. The more chevrons a technique has, the higher priority it's assigned, but this also compounds with your Temtem speed value to determine when an ability is used. Here is how the priority system breaks down. Very low is the lowest tier of priority and is indicated with a minus symbol. The effect of very low priority on speed is still unknown. Low is indicated by 1 chevron symbol. Low priority means the technique will be used with half the speed of the user. Normal is indicated by 2 chevron symbols. Normal priority means the technique will be used with the speed of the user and has no effect on the speed stat. High is indicated by 3 chevrons. High priority means the technique will be used at 1.5 times the speed of the user. Very high is indicated by a plus symbol and 3 chevrons. Very high priority means the technique will be used at 1.75 times the speed of the user, and Ultra, the final tier of priority, which is indicated with a star and 3 chevrons. The effect of Ultra is still currently unknown. To understand the order techniques are used in a battle, a simple calculation is made. To determine the value of a technique, take the Temtem speed and factor in the priority value assigned to that technique. The resulting number is then compared to the other abilities being used in that turn, and an order of events is established. One of the most important features of Temtem's battle system is technique synergy, which boosts or adds additional effects to techniques based on the relationship of the Temtem on the battlefield. For example, Crystal Dust is a move that the Temtem Crystal can learn. When you have an air type on the field as its partner, such as Tawai, the move receives a synergy bonus that boosts its damage by plus 20 and moves the priority up from normal to high. The additional damage and speed can be the deciding factor in an encounter, so understanding the relationship of your Temtem is critical. This synergy bonus can even take effect during a swap, which adds a proactive layer of strategy into the mix. In order to swap Temtem on and off the field, simply click the Swap UI button when on a specific Temtem you want to change out and choose which one you'd like to take its spot. Finally, we have one last thing to talk about, and that's stat modifiers. Techniques such as Nimble or traits like Amphibian adjust your stats during a battle. These modifiers stack but only last until the end of a battle, where they revert back to normal. These work on a sliding scale of stages, from a minimum of -5 to a maximum of +5. You can find your Temtem debuffed to only be 29% as effective, or buffed all the way to a whopping 350% effective. Keeping track of where your Temtem stats are compared to your opponents will be key. Battles get more complicated the higher up you get in the competitive scene, maximizing your SV and TVs, knowing which Temtem are better than others, understanding techniques and type combinations, and even gear. It plays a factor. But these are all topics for another day and another survival guide. If you'd like to be a part of the Legion Gaming Discord community, we'll leave a link in the description below. We'd love to have you talk about Temtem and help you on your way to being the best tamer you can be. And as always, guys, give us a like, drop us a comment, all those good things to help bring our videos to more people. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legion Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.